first step in utilizing your Stargate SG3000 is the remote transmitter. This is going to calculate your wet bulb, your dry bulb, and you're going to drill a hole in your return air duct, insert the probe, turn the sensor on, and it's going to transmit in real time to your handheld unit outside when calculating your superheat. After you drill your hole in your return, take your remote transmitter, take the probe, slide it in, let it rest, turn the remote transmitter on, indicator light will determine it's on, and that's all you need to do. It's automatically sending in real time information back to the handheld receiver about the wet bulb and dry bulb conditions for calculating your superheat. In addition to superheat, the SG3000 also calculates subcooling. We set up exactly the same return duct, remote transmitter, calculating the wet bulb, dry bulb. We add the RXT2 temperature probe to the liquid line. After setting up inside, take your equipment, head outside to the condenser and set up there. Grab your charging hose, set to the side. Grab your liquid and suction lines, pull them out. Then of course, the SG3000. Take it out, grab your suction line, hook up to the bottom, color-coded blue, blue to blue. Go ahead and take your other end, hook it up to the suction line on your condenser. Liquid line, exactly the same thing, color-coded, red to red, and hook back to your condenser. The next step, take your RXT1, which is your small little temperature sensor, connects to your condenser. Just measuring your outdoor ambient temperature. Connects right to RXT1. Take RXT2. We're going to connect it to the suction line at the condenser. And on the back to RXT2. Once you're all hooked up, the screen will walk you through a series of menus. Just read the screen, make appropriate selections. Start it up, hit enter. Test the signal. The battery gives you three options: superheat, subcool, show all sensors, test radio and battery. We're looking to test the superheat, so we're going to choose option 1. It says 1 or 2, superheat or subcooling. We're going to do 1 for superheat. Now it tells you to make sure your remote sensor is hooked up in the return duct. It is, so we're going to hit enter. It's just going to walk you through and make sure everything's hooked up correctly to the right ports. Everything's hooked up. Enter. Start. Now it gives you a choice of choosing your refrigerant, R22 or R410A. We have R22 system, so we're going to choose 1. And the last option is capillary tube versus TXV expansion valve. We have an expansion valve on this system. We're going to choose 2. Now it's calculating. The Stargate tells you whether your charge is too high, too low, or charge is okay. What we want to do is, it's showing its charge is a little low, so we're going to show you how to properly connect the system and charge, or conversely, hook it up and take refrigerant out if you needed to. Go ahead and set your Stargate down. Grab your third hose that's supplied in the kit. Connect it to the T in your suction line. Grab your refrigerant tank. Hook it up. Then on the charging hose, you just have a little ball valve. Go ahead, charge through there, cracking it open and closed, watching your Stargate, watching your charge and your superheat. And just when you get perfect, it'll say charge OK. The required time from when you get to the house, turn on the air conditioner, go downstairs, drill your holes in the return, put your remote transmitter in, come outside to the condenser, hook up all this equipment. To the time you get your first reading should be no more than 10 minutes. When looking at your charge, you may read chart out of range. What does that mean? Well, that means that all the data for a superheat chart comes from a chart just like this. It gives you all the parameters, all your wet bulb, your dry bulb, your ambient temperatures, everything's based on this. If it's off this chart, no matter how you calculate your superheat, you will not have a true superheat, and it cannot be done. If you get a chart out of range reading, there may be ways to overcome it. One of them is check your furnace, check your filters, your coils, make sure they're not dirty. If they're dirty, you can't get a true reading anyway. Another thing you may do is if there's no load in the house, you may need to crank up the heat for a while to get the house hot so that the air conditioning will run with a load. If you're outside at your condenser and your ambient outside is too low, well then you really can't take a superheat on that day anyway. The Stargate SG3000 can't calculate it, then there's no way to get a true superheat.